call.
Jim Island,
Yes.
Glenn Redding,
Here.
Roy Martin,
Here.
Brian Snavely,
Here.
Brett Wall,
Here.
Bobby Woods,
Here.
Rodney Sellens,
Here.
Jim Hart,
Here.
Rob Glenn,
Ready.
James Widener,
Here.
David Thompson.
Here.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the April 9, 2019 minutes and the May 14, 2019 agenda?
Yes. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Treasury report.
Beginning balance for county general was $1,459,384.18. Revenues for the month, $655,592.63. Distributions for the month, $598,623.93, resulting in a balance for county general of $1,516,352.88. Beginning balance for county road, $2,165,592.95. Revenues for the month, $244,105.47. Disbursements for the month, $207,552.38, resulting in a balance for county road of $2,202,146.04. 1/4 cent sales tax revenue, $133,103.08. 1% county sales tax revenue, $303,046.40. General revenue turnback, $52,302.03. Highway revenue turnback, $101,016.17. 0.5% state highway tax, $51,186.30.
Okay, thank you. Any committee reports?
The budget finance met, and we'll have a couple of ordinances to present.
Okay.
Personnel committee met, and we had the appointment of Dr. Chitsey to the NARMC board. And there were a couple of questions at that time, which I'll read you the answers now, since they're in the minutes. Justice Redding asked the question that Dr. Chitsey is replacing Dr. Holloman, who resigned, and Dr. Chitsey has not been on this board previously. So we'll have that appointment coming up on the agenda soon.
Okay. Anything else?
Road committee met, and I said I would give everybody an update, and it's going to take a little long to cover everything that we got to talk about. First thing I want to talk about is our stoplight. We talked about it last week at the committee meeting, and we're having some changes going on due to the some of the problems that they're running into. What we kind of wanted to begin with was a 4-way stoplight instead of a 3-way stoplight. And so they approved the 3-way, but they started getting involved with it. It's supposed to be put in there next month, and we run into some problems. And the judge has worked on this really, really hard the past week or so, and we've got it kind of worked out that we're going to have a 4-way stoplight now, which is what it needs to be. And I've talked with the folks that are involved that's going to have to do an easement. They have no problem with giving us an easement without charging us anything due to everything that's going on. We're going to have to take over that part of their property that the road comes on as a county road, which means we're going to have to probably pay them something to pave it. I mean, we're going to have to pay it because we did all that. We're looking at probably September now, since we're doing all these changes. And it looks like since they're doing it the way they are, it's going to be an 80-10-10. The county's going to be liable for 10% of the overall cost. However, since we're not paying anything for the easements and things of that nature, it shouldn't really amount to that much. The estimate that was given RDOT was quite a bit less than the initial estimate. I think we're looking at what, under 20,000 or so.
$20,000 to $25,000, I believe.
Total or for our part? Our part. Our part.
Yeah, I think the total is over $200,000 for a part, we got 25,000. Which we'd have probably had some expense through any utilities or anything like that, not having any other place. So this was say have to move some utilities.
It's been learned a lot, and the judge has learned a lot. Through all this deal.
Question on that, so that would consolidate those businesses that are on that side of the road, the west side of the road, where they would only use that one entrance?
Well, there's already two entrances up to the road, but this would be right there where they could use
One
that.
main entrance, and it could access all of them. and
Right,
get out
and
there.
see, and the other way, the way they was going to do it, you could only turn right out of the exit. And you couldn't, and you really couldn't cross it from the other lane to go in there, and that's where they were gonna put the entrance. So it was really not going to help anything. There would still be like that. Having a four-way stoplight prevents any of that.
On the safety side of it, I couldn't see where what they would propose was gonna, you know, I could still see it being a hazard. By this four-way stop, that would eliminate a lot of
It
problems.
allows all those businesses to get access out of the traffic light.
Is there any more questions about the stoplight before I go on to something else? We talked last week too about security for the courthouse, and as we said, every elected office that are there has agreed to pay their fair share of whatever it costs to do this. And so the judge worked hard with this. We visited with the sheriff today about this, and our security person will be a Boone County deputy, the way it appears. And he will work for the sheriff, but be assigned to the judge. So the judge will have control over telling him what to do, when to do, and all that. And as a deputy, he'll have arrest authority and any of that kind of thing that he should have. The judge and I had talked, and the judge would like to have this done as soon as we possibly can, because it's real important that we do this. It shouldn't affect our budget this year, if anything, so but that's really good. Security concerns are coming up. Miss Amy on the judge's staff applied for a grant and got a grant for video cameras, and them things are going to go in pretty quickly. And we're just really thankful for that. Let's see.
I'd like to introduce you to Amy Benefield too. She has been a great assistant, and she just wants to work hard to get that grant. So.
She is really, really good.
Judge, do we have to do anything to get that started, your agreement with the sheriff's office?
Mainly, he's gonna talk to there is a deputy or security guard that works at the college that they think is wanting to get on the sheriff's department, and this would be a good start for them. So we're gonna look at maybe hiring him under the sheriff, and that way, you know.
Do you have to do an agreement or anything?
Yes, you know, we have the right to agree who we put in there, and
But as far as a written agreement, I don't, we may end up doing that.
Well, the
just-
judge needs a written agreement.
Yeah, so we'll let him know that everything's done. But
it's
it's something.
gonna be about the same as a resource officer.
I understand, yeah.
Yeah.
Just needs to put something down on paper so
Yes,
we'll
I agree
be
with
covered.
you. Yes, sir.
Giving him the authority to put him at what building
Yeah,
he wants.
yeah.
Right. And also manage church for a time like that. Judge, you want to talk a little bit about the courtyard and some of the changes?
But right now, we're looking at putting some lights to shine up to the flags.
That's a good idea.
You know, it's something we've been needing for a long time. All our cameras showing all our monuments, who's coming in, who's going out and stuff.
How about events? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, this last weekend, we had some events and they didn't go very well. We had one gentleman drive across the brick down there, it's got the veterans' names on it and stuff, and so I was very unhappy. So Shirley and I talked about it. From now on, they're gonna hire one of our employees at $20 an hour on any event to be there to police the area and keep track.
It's a good idea.
And be able to open the bathrooms for them, so.
They break some of
If
them.
everyone's coming in, I say pay that $20 an hour.
Did they break some of them?
No, they didn't break any of them, but they shouldn't even been up in the
No,
yard.
no, gosh, no, that's where those bricks are,
No reason, bet.
you don't even walk by those bricks. You know.
Was that Saturday?
Yes.
And I seen a group down there, I didn't know who it was, but I drove by and I seen it over there by the, I seen a pretty good sized group over there.
Yeah.
And we was with the sheriff today, and he said that he was confident there's some off-duty deputy that would really appreciate coming down and helping out, especially for the $20 an hour.
And that way it didn't cost the county anything, because they're paying their wage.
Yeah. You bet.
They're doing that.
Justice, I have a question.
Okay.
On the security or actually law enforcement of the courthouse and the old federal
The
building,
old federal government.
how much time is going to be devoted to that?
That's gonna be up to Robert, 8 hours a day. I mean, he's gonna have to alternate between, that's just a fact of life, but that'll be up to the judge. Now, Wednesdays and Thursdays at the courthouse is where there's a lot of people, court cases and all that. He really needs to be pretty close to there. There's where we've had more problems. But outside of that, the judge will set that. It won't be a routine where he walks over there every 5 minutes and walks back. I mean, it's because you don't want that, but the judge will take care of that.
Okay.
Okay, got one more thing, Judge. It probably needs to wait for a new business, but since I got it down here, when you get as old as I am, if you don't talk about it, you forget about it. They have this conference coming up in DC. Y'all got notice of that. Justice Redding went to it last year, and I think it would be good, and I'd like to go to it this year, and I think the county judge would too, because both of us would be invited. And what I would like to know is what's your all's idea or concept or whatever about, I think you helped Justice Redding with his cost going out there, if you do the same thing for the judge.
Remember what we did?
Just paid mileage out there, I think, and maybe one night.
Yeah.
in North Carolina, something like that. Whatever it was.
We could look back on it to make
I
sure.
think we ought to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's a good deal. It's an opportunity to represent Boone County in Washington DC.
Yeah.
And now, Justice Redding reported, and the Vice President of the Quorum Court Association went last year, and Justice Redding and all the reports that I got, it was a really good meeting. They got contacts with lots of folks, lots of different agencies, if they need information or help or anything, and I'm sure they'll change it up just a little bit. So I think it's a good thing to go and be informed.
But if y'all get thrown, you can't.
Oh, don't call us.
I know the sheriff went, he was bragging, he was really glad he went to that, so.
Did he go last year?
Yes.
It was a different time.
Yeah, they're the same thing.
But I checked on airline tickets, it'd be about $520 round trip out there and back, and hopefully we would go. The meeting is Tuesday at 1 o'clock. We would probably fly out Monday, spend Monday night, go to the meeting Tuesday in the afternoon, spend Tuesday night, and fly back Wednesday.
Now, one thing that we figured out at the Quorum Court Association a couple of years ago, they sent me to the National County meeting. And I drove. It was in Nashville, I think it was. Yeah, last year. And anyway, we discovered that what we went with was, if we do that again, mileage or plane ticket, whichever is the lesser. So if you fly, you drove, right? So if you fly, You know, I mean, probably the ticket would be less, maybe, I don't know, but that's
Well,
what,
but the thing with flying, with drug driving, you need to figure the cost of that, plus a motel that you couldn't
Well,
drive that all in one day.
potentially the one-night motel, that would be whatever it would be, but as far as the mileage, I mean, the lesser of a plane ticket or driving.
No, different wavelengths, I think, on that hotel deal. You're talking about while we're traveling, and he's talking about the nights or days when they're.
No, I'm talking about the traveling nights, because that, you couldn't drive that.
You drove it one day, didn't you?
No, but I only turned in one night.
Yeah, but while you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one night, and that's kind of the same thing that they've done with me on President of Quorum Court Association. They will pay for one night if I have to go somewhere for business for the Quorum Court Association. Not 2 or 3 nights on the way to get there, but one night when you're there. So I think one night is pretty clear, and then the mileage or plane ticket, whichever is lesser. If that, and that's just a suggestion, that's what we found out, because this year it's in Las Vegas and I'm not driving, and I don't think I'm even going. But, you know, mileage, if you were driving, would get quite expensive, and it would outweigh the plane ticket. So that's what we decided as a court association, but now we can do whatever we want to. But that was just a suggestion to figure.
Probably plane ticket will be less anyway.
I think so.
Okay, good enough?
That's all I've got at this time.
Okay.
Do we need to do a motion to this effect, Chairman of the Federal? Or, I mean, we don't have anything on here, but.
Do we have a motion?
Appropriate money or what?
What we did last time is I went ahead and turned in all the bills to the court clerk, and when I had all those, I brought them to the quorum court, and then they approved them.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Money's already in the budget.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we'll know what it is.
Okay. Are you done now?
I'm done.
All right. Announcements and presentations. We have with us Mr. Bruce McMath to speak about Arkansas Natural Sky Association.
Thank you, Judge. So my name's Bruce McMath, and I drove up here today to talk to you all about light pollution. So you know right away I'm not entirely normal. I appreciate giving me a few minutes, and Justice Redding for arranging this. He was present when I talked to the city board about a month ago. This is a serious issue. I know up here where you don't really have the problem, you're probably not as conscious of it as those of us who live in the city. But it is a real concern. It's an aesthetic concern. It's a cultural concern. It's an environmental concern. It's a health concern. It's an energy concern. I sent out a little a piece that has all the details and at least touch on the various issues that Justice Redding handed it out, and I hope you had a chance to look at that. I've got a few brochures I'll leave here for people who might have further interest with citations to websites and so forth. And I've got a few handouts here that Mr. Campbell, one of your county residents, has prepared that talks about some of the things we'll talk about. But what I want to focus your attention on here is the cultural and economic of this issue. Because what do we value most? Things that are rare, and even more than that, things that we've lost and don't have anymore. So your urban cousins don't have the sky anymore, and they want it. And these parks, we're working with the Buffalo National River to have them designated a dark sky park. They've been relighting their campus for 2.5 years. They've got outreach programming. We had a star party here at Ozark Camp, just north of Jasper recently. Had a good crowd. So this is becoming a ecotourism, if you want to put that term on it, but it's something that draws people. And the truth of the matter is, as this is growing in consciousness among the people who like to get out in nature and recreate, particularly urbanites, it's going to be that natural heritage places like the Buffalo River that lose their sky are going to be damaged goods. They'll go somewhere else where they can see nature at night as well as in the day. So this, I think, is probably important to the economy up here. And it's drawn people up here. People build cabins in this part of the country, build vacation homes. Mr. Campbell here, Tut Campbell, y'all, maybe some of you know Tut, moved here, always got deep roots here, family roots. He came back here for Your Dark Skies, and he runs an observatory south of town here and has high schoolers out, and the college here, the students are using his facilities. So it's a resource in many ways, and I'm urging here, just urge you to start thinking about that and how you can protect what's left of it. There are actually no purely natural dark sky left in Arkansas, but we come real close, mostly along that Buffalo River area. So how do we do this? We're not going to give up artificial light at night, and that's not our organization's position. But it's a matter of becoming conscious of when we light, where we light, how we light. And it's that last thing that I want to get you to take action on tonight, how we light. Because as this little handout shows you, dealing with light pollution is some of the first steps of some of the easiest things in the world. There are no losers. It's a matter of using the right kind of fixtures. And if you use the right kind of fixtures that don't put light up and don't put light out, but put it down, you know, the sun lights the earth from above. And that's the way you should light with artificial light. And we have all these old fixtures out there that just throw light everywhere, and a lot of that goes up in the sky, and it's wasted energy that you're paying for. It contributes to carbon emissions. Light trespass, glare, which actually diminishes the value of the light fixture because that light hits you in the eye. You know, you've ever been in a campfire in the woods and tried to see into the woods. So that's the reason you put shades on your lamp. So we need proper fixtures. So the problem you've got in this county is Entergy provides most of your rural, residential, and town lighting, and they are not offering responsible, zero uplight, modern LED fixtures at an affordable price. They've got them, but they're twice or more as expensive as the traditional legacy fixture. So we're trying to work with the Public Service Commission to get the Public Service Commission to pressure these utilities to offer modern fixtures at an affordable rate. And they should be affordable because it actually costs less to operate these fixtures. They're so much more efficient than the legacy fixtures. They lower maintenance and use a whole lot less power, electricity. So they should not be more expensive. And that's our effort now. We've gotten the city of Little Rock on board with endorse our effort. We've got the little town of Gilbert on board. So we've got the bookends. And I came up here recently and talked to the city of Harrison, and their mayor has written a letter and joined the deal. And we anticipate more towns and communities because there's no reason not to. And I would like for the Boone County to be the first county. Just have the judge, I can send you one of the other letters that the mayor sent, or several of these mayors sent, and to get your judge here to write the Public Service Commission director and encourage her to get Entergy to offer some affordable, modern, zero uplight fixtures so that when you get a light here or you get a light there, it's not wasting energy and throwing the light in the sky. So that's my pitch. And as I say, I left some business cards here too, and brochure. Any questions?
Would those LED lighting save the farmer money, the guy that's got the barn and the lights out there on the barn, is that gonna save him some
Well,
money too?
we're just trying to get it where it's the same, but in the long run, it will be cheaper. And I don't want to get bogged down in this, but there's a reason that the old fixtures are cheaper than the new fixtures, and in a nutshell, it's this. The tariff is calculated on the legacy fixtures based on what's already installed out there, what it costs to operate those fixtures. Whereas the new technology is based upon buying a new one and installing it today and running it into its future 20-year life cycle. And it's apples and oranges, it's not the same thing. But the new fixture is actually going to prove to be cheaper over the long term. So what they're doing is that rate is artificially down here, but it's going to do this over time. And eventually, it's going to be higher than the new fixture. So what we're saying is that I wanted to avoid this but what they're really doing is they're subsidizing the installation of these old technology fixtures. I think because they want to sell the electricity. Okay, I didn't say that. All right, off the record. But in the long run, and so what we're saying is, no, if this fixture is cheaper to run going forward and you're getting ready to put a new fixture in, let's put this one in at the same rate as this old fixture. And so over time, those old fixtures are going to do this, and that new fixture is going to do that. So it will save you money in the long run. Yes, sir.
This silhouette that you show here looks like the mercury vapor lights that Energy puts out.
Exactly.
And I was wondering, we might could even encourage them to devise a little hood to go around them. I mean, do they shine up through them, or?
They make a shield that'll go on there. They cost about $35, and you can have them put on there. Eureka Springs has done that. All their lights have been shielded like that. That so-called, I call it a barnyard light. That light puts 27% of its light actually goes down where it's useful, below a 60-degree angle. All the rest of it is glare and sky glow. It's just an awful waste.
To bring this a little bit to light, no pun intended, my daughter, when she first went to college, didn't even think anything about it. And then whenever she started coming back from Fayetteville, well, she just marveled at all the stars that you could see
that you got
out on the farm.
That you got.
And of course, you know, it's a pretty cool deal. I mean, I've been fortunate. The half a dozen people that live in the holler that I've always lived in, nobody had a night light, and you could see the stars at night. I know what you're talking about. Right. You go to town, you don't even know whether you got your headlights on or not sometimes in town.
Right, exactly. By the way, we've got on our website, we have 2 maps, natural sky maps. One of them is places where you can go and lay under the stars and see a natural sun, see the Milky Way. The other is we're trying to recruit cabins, lodges, and campgrounds who are located near dark skies and who light responsibly themselves. We'll put them free on our map. And eventually we'll start publicizing that map and try to bring more business to these operators, particularly in the off-season. See, because this can be an off-season draw for those businesses when you know it's gotten too cold for the river. Anyway, any further questions? Yes, sir.
A couple of questions, maybe.
I understand.
In relation to Sid McMahon?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he's the father.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
The other is, there was some work done on this a few years ago. I remember probably 15 years ago, Quorum Court had an ordinance down before that might have been a resolution to encourage people to put in those down shining lights, and everybody kind of laughed it off. I don't really remember whether it passed or not, but there has been some work done on that in the past.
We have a state statute for publicly funded lights are supposed to be all down, but there's a big exception in it if it's got to be affordable. See, so because Entergy is not offering these lights at an affordable rate, nobody's following, they just opt out of the statute. But it's been there since the late like 1996. So, we're trying to get this guy.
Another thing over, some of you may be familiar on the 281 over there on the high mountain that you can see the lake and everything over there. When they first built the bank in Lead Hill, it looked a lot like the landing of the spacecraft on Close Encounters. But now they had the square, I mean, from that distance, that was about the time the movie came out. But anyway, but they had some square boxes that, I mean, they were shining just as much up as they were down, and I think they just put a lid on theirs. And
Get that light back down. Thank you.
Mr. Mathis, you'll give me a copy of that letter, I'll be glad to see it.
I'll do it, Judge. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good to see all of you guys.
Bruce, thank you.
Oh, my goodness.
How are you doing?
Fine.
Glad to see you sitting behind that podium.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, alive and well so far.
Glad to know it.
He went to law school.
He was graduated from off there.
He ain't changed much, has he?
No, not at all.
I want to add one thing to what Bruce has already said. When we moved here 20 years ago, we built the largest telescope in the state of Arkansas here, 7 miles south of town. And if anyone would like to come out to the observatory, we have open house once a month out there. And I've got some business cards here, I'll just hand these out. It's amazing how much in the last 20 years as Harrison has grown, more lights have shined up in the sky. When you put these shields on the lights, you can reduce the wattage of the bulb, of course, saving energy. I look at it this way. When you water your lawns in the summertime, during the dry season, you would never put the sprinkler on the side of the grass so that half of the water goes into the yard and the other half goes out in the street and goes down the gutter. That'd be a waste of water. Neither would you go fill up your car at the gas station and take the gas pump and open up your gas in the car and kind of aim it. And then some of the gas would probably go in the tank, but much of it goes down and is wasted. You would never think about losing energy, losing money that way. That's what's happening whenever you see light going up in the sky. Several of the farmers around the observatory have installed these shields, and they're very effective. What's interesting is from a distance of a quarter or half mile away, you can see the farmer's property, his house. You can see him walking in the yard because all the light's coming down. And then the farmer right next to him, the light is in your face going up, and all you see is the glare, and you can't really see much detail in the yard. So when you come out to the observatory, I want to encourage you all, give me a call. The email address is on the card. Send me an email that you want to be put on our monthly newsletter, and I send out a newsletter by a week before we have our open house and notify you. It starts about half an hour before dark. We get started.
Thank you, Judge.
Yep. It has to be clear, of course. Thank you.
When is the next open house?
7021 Whispering Pine Road, Whispering Pine Observatories. Happens to be on my shirt.
When's the next open house?
It's Dark of the Moon in 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
coming bright now, it's happening.
Yes, and we stay away from the full moon. God's got a street light in the sky during the full moon. So after this next full moon, when it gets to be dark of the moon, the week of the dark of the moon each month is when we open up the observatory for visitors.
No, I know how it was before.
Thank you.
Before I got out of law school.
I know Troy Burst arrived, and we was talking about our safety, our security.
Oh, yeah, I was, but
I'd
I'm.
like to allow him to speak
wasn't
just a
as
minute,
good.
if that's okay, because he is our consultant for security.
Thank you, Judge. I just got back from Little Rock. I did an active attacker class down there for HUD housing.
But anyway.
And I looked at the clock, it's 4:45, and I'm like, I got to get to Boone County. So it's good to be here. As a lot of you know, that the judge and Fred and I did a walkthrough of all the campus with the courthouse and the federal building, and we did it in mind of looking for security flaws and assessments. And we had a chance to speak to every single elected official during that time and get their input of how they felt being on front lines. And so I have some of that information. Part of, kind of in summary, what they talked about, a lot of them at the courthouse thought there should be a limited access, but not all 4 doors open. All 4 doors exit, and maybe 2 doors open. So that's one thing that each one of them said that was really important to them because it's very chaotic, people coming in from every place. Another thing that gets chaotic sometimes is court days, especially family court days. You know, the trouble kind of comes down to it, downstairs. And they feel sometimes very vulnerable and sometimes harassed a little bit by the ongoings of large court days. We took a look at your security system. You now have 4 cameras there that, coming back.
Yeah, good to see you.
So we took a look at that. We are, because of the grant, we're upgrading the camera systems both in and out of the courthouse. And we thought really there should be some sort of a security system. You know, when you leave, it goes on at night, so there's no more sleeping in the courthouse and finding the surprise the next morning. And I don't know if y'all were aware of that. This is something that we don't talk about, right? But we have to fix. I mean, that's got to be fixed. And so with that security system, we want to take a look and see what the needs that we need, especially for every office, that, you know, you guys got apps and stuff that you go to your phone in case there's trouble and stuff. But we found that talking with everybody, that's very cumbersome in use. Matter of fact, they said that they're really under a lot of pressure and stress. That's going to be really hard for them to do. And I understand that. So looking at a affordable alarm system for the courthouse, each office would be given the panic button that would activate the alarm. And that's very reasonable, very, very inexpensive nowadays to do that. Technology is just really cheap. Just getting the right fit for what we're looking for. They also, one of the things they wanted to have is somebody on site. There was actually somebody there that they could count on, and we know that up in the bailiffs, you know, they're there sometimes, sometimes not. But we know the priority of the bailiff is to the judges and to the court and to the prisoners. And when bad things go, their priority is there. They just can't break away to go do other secondary things. And so each one of them thought it would be a good idea to have someone that they could be right there, that they could, one, have direct access to, that would be there going back and forth from each of the buildings, and it would be under the judge's preview. And with that, that's kind of the direction that we're looking at. And each one of the elected officials that we talked to said they would be more than willing to put in a portion of their budget to pay for this. Because that way they're sharing it. For one to do it, it would be too much. But for them to be able to share a portion of that, it would be something very affordable for each of the departments to be able to do. I know the judge said that we might get started in maybe a new cycle, but I think that after talking with them, there's probably enough money in some of their budgets right now. They kind of want to get started as soon as they can on this proposition. I didn't get a chance to have a meeting with, I was down in Little Rock doing this class today, but they had a meeting with the sheriff today, and he had a proposal that he shared with them, and I think that what we should do is we should sit down, we should look at exactly what the judge is looking for, the person would answer to them, and maybe take interviews of having the right fit for that office. And so I think that one thing I would recommend is if you get ready to do this, you should interview, and you should be on the interview process of getting the right fit for those 2 buildings. And then there's a couple other ways to go. We talked to the state police. The state police said in order to have a security guard, then the guard the county must become a manager of that of sorts. The only way around that was to get a guard that had law enforcement credentials actively in either the county or the city that would have the jurisdiction. And so they said even a reserve officer would be able to accommodate that. As working as a security guard, that's not the same as working as a law enforcement officer, and so therefore they can work the 40 hours as a security guard, continue to be a reserve officer. If you have a part-time police officer working that position as a police officer, then anything over 20 hours, of course, you have to get them full-time academy bound. Just to keep them as a security officer with law enforcement credentials, that's what I would highly recommend to do. And one of the concerns was that being a deputy or somebody in that capacity, that they might get pulled off if the bailiff was short or something like that. They might get pulled off and not exactly have a priority for what you're looking for. And so my recommendation is really the judge be in charge of that person. And we can work that around that with the sheriff or the chief, and hopefully it will be the sheriff to do that. And so that is my analysis of what we looked at, and I think it will be affordable in order to do that, and will bring a lot of peace of mind anyway, and security to your grounds and your operation. If you have questions, I would be glad to entertain questions.
Thanks, Troy.
You're welcome, sir.
Or one thing that I think we need to do, I'm sorry, go ahead, your question is for tonight.
The security officer that you mentioned, would he have full arrest authority?
That would be keeping him under the preview of the sheriff or the city garrison, yes. Especially a reserve and radio contact with the department under the state law. They said, and we do that as reserves when we get out and work, and we're under direct radio supervision of the county or city that they're working, and that would qualify them to have arrest authority.
One thing I was going to suggest is we kiss the ring so the insurance rainwater funds, because you have the immunity as a law enforcement officer, a lot more immunity than you have as a security guard. And so we need to make sure that this law enforcement officer is a law enforcement officer, and that he takes with him the immunity, which also protects the county with that. And that can be done, and just, I think we probably ought to at least make a phone call to that agency.
Absolutely. There should be some subsequent meetings. We need to have some more meetings and put our heads together to make sure this is the right thing and the right direction, not only legally, but civilly, liability-wise.
That's how they do almost all the school resources.
Yeah. So
That's kind of what it's going to be based in.
Yeah, they made that to a school,
yeah.
courthouse resource.
So if we do it that way, then that would have to be a full-time police officer working under the premium sheriff if we did it that way. So there's some things we have to balance back and forth, and that's what we want to look at after this. But that's the first assessment.
It's not a complete plan, but it is a plan.
It is a plan. It's a starting the plan, right? Starting the plan. So.
Well, and I've commented that, I mean, that has been a common denominator on concerns for a lot of years. I mean, even before we were having the events and everything that we have now, it just, well, I mean, the county folks are carrying something besides their pencil, something other sometimes. I mean, they're carrying cash to the bank, they're carrying checks to the bank, you know, stuff like that, and, you know, it's a thing that the time has come.
We have a local law enforcement officer that was involved in the shooting in Fort Smith at the courthouse. She was very experienced, and she said she would be glad to come and talk with me anytime about the need for security in the courthouse. So.
Well, and it's just a matter of time.
I commend you for being proactive instead of reactive. Reactive always means there's something bad happening, and proactive means that you got to help.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you, Troy.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Troy.
Okay, we'll move on to old business. I need to mention that the audit report is in. I think we come out pretty good. So, I think y'all got a copy.
There's an appointment next on the agenda.
Okay, I apologize. You're right, Bobby. I apologize. Appointment of Dr. Blake Chitsey, appointed to the North Arkansas Regional Medical Board as Director and Chair of the Employee Physician Executive Committee. Mr. Reese, would you like to say something?
Here's some copies of my bio if you don't have one. Just a bio. This is Dr. Chitsey. We had hoped he'd be here this evening, but he was not able to attend. Dr. Chitsey is going to fill the unexpired term of Dr. Holloman that you had approved once before. And he graduated cum laude from the University of Texas in Dallas. Hope you don't pull out University of Texas against him. Texas is a Bachelor of Science in Biology and received a Doctor of Medicine at the University of Texas Southwestern. He completed his residency and training in internal medicine at Federal University of South Carolina in Charleston. Dr. Chitz has been in the community a number of years. He is employed at the hospital, and he will be filling the unexpired term of Dr. Holloman. And I know Justice Wagner had refused you bail money, Judge. Just give me a call, I'll come get you.
How long a term is this?
This is till the end of this year.
Just this year.
Yes.
We would like to express our appreciation for you taking up the slack where we fall short.
I move we approve.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Now can I move on to old business? And once again, we did get our audit report. I think everyone got a copy of it, all JP's. I'm sure you all read it, did it.
I did.
Good.
I did.
Very informative.
In the redacted part.
Yep.
Yeah, we can see under the redacted part.
I haven't left the light.
If there's not any questions on it, we'll move on. Okay? New business. First, we have an appropriation ordinance to move funds to build an addition to the jail to an account set up by the treasurer. The money has been approved, ordinance 2019-15, however, the fund should be in a separate account due to the general fund, submitted by Justice Snavely.
I'd like to read this amended ordinance in its entirety.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Okay, enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Boone, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 2019-15, passed May 14th, to cover the costs of addition in county jail. The original appropriation ordinance placed the funds for the addition in county general, but they should be in 4001-0418-4006 county jail edition. And correct me if I'm wrong, Sandy, the 4,000 series of numbers is dedicated.
Yes.
Okay. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Boone County, Arkansas, Section 1, the following appropriation is made from the Sheriff's Department from 3499 jail sales tax fund, amount of 1.5 million to 4001-0418-4006 county jail edition capital outlay construction in progress. This sum, 1.5 million, was approved at the May 2019 Quorum Court meeting for the addition of county jail. However, the funds should be in a separate account from the county general budget. There are no new funds appropriated. Section 2, all other sections of ordinance number 2019-15 shall remain in full force and effect. And I make a motion to adopt.
Second.
I'd like to get the treasurer to explain this last move and the clarity that it creates for us, please.
The original ordinance that put the money into Fund 1000, capital outlay, we can't commingle dedicated monies, which is what the jail sales tax fund is, unless we are willing to do a detailed bookkeeping and record keeping and tracking, make sure that that money that they're requesting is being spent on the jail itself. Whereas if we put it in a dedicated fund, then we don't have to track it detailed. It is tracking itself because that's the only money in that fund. And the auditors suggested we not commingle and open its own fund.
Any more discussion?
I'll kind of take responsibility for that. We haven't done anything like this since I've been the budget chairman. It didn't occur to me.
It is kind of a general practice change in the last few years to create a separate account for these kind of things. They used to do that
Used
more.
to, we
Yeah.
did, but with the new, that's why they came out with all these new funds that we are to use separately, is so that the money is more trackable. That when the auditors audit Fund 4001, they will know that that is all money that went for the new jail. There's nothing else in it, and they don't have to pay.
And they standardized accounts across the state. So if you look at the 1,000 fund in Drew County, it's the general fund. And you look at the 2,000, it's the road department. So that nothing, it's kind of a newer thing, and we haven't done anything, I guess, since we built the last part of the jail. So not a new thing.
More discussion? Roll call?
Brian Snavely,
Yes.
Fred Wolf,
Yes.
Bobby Woods,
Yes.
Rodney Sullins,
Yes.
Jim Hart,
Yes.
Ralph Quinn,
Yes.
James Widener,
Yes.
David Thompson,
Yes.
Jim Mylan,
Yes.
Glenn Redding,
Yes.
Roy Martin.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to appropriation ordinance number 2, an appropriation ordinance to cover APRS for an employee of the library who had gone over the part-time hours for 2 consecutive months before going full-time. The funds will come from a line item in the library budget with no new funds requested. Sponsored by Justice Thompson.
I move that we read this ordinance through section 1.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Being enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Boone, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance amending the annual budget for Boone County and for the fiscal year 2019 and authorizing the county judge to administer such budget for other purposes. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of the County of Boone, State of Arkansas. The following appropriation in section 1 is made from the library fund, account number 3008. $382.68. This is coming from 3008-600-3030, library OS&C travel, $382. Going from that line item, that section, to library personnel services retirement matching, $382.68. And I believe then the remainder of that in parentheses is what the judge read previous to me reading that. So I would move to approve.
Any discussion? I second. Roll call?
Fred Wolf,
Yes.
Bobby Woods,
Yes.
Rodney Sullins,
Yes.
Jim Hart,
Yes.
Ralph Quinn,
Yes.
James Widener,
Yes.
David Thompson,
Yes.
Jim Mylan,
Yes.
Glenn Redding,
Yes.
Roy Martin,
Yes.
Brian Snavely.
Yes.
Passes. Okay. Any comments from the public?
I have something to announce from the Personnel Committee. It was brought to my attention on Friday that we have a EQ board member that's coming off this year. And Harry Harness was appointed to represent the Quorum Court. So we need to come up with a new board member for that by July, so to approve at our July meeting. We want to announce that, so we need to be thinking about who we can talk to for that position.
Is it typical to reappoint, to appoint a new person? Can we reappoint the same one that
We
we're in?
can reappoint. I assume he's not willing to serve since Randy sent that to my attention. I tried to reach her this afternoon and we didn't make contacts.
Is this the one that needs a little realty experience? Or is that some of the other positions?
I don't think that that's required. Greg Morris is currently still serving on that. I'm not sure which group he represents.
I
And
think the
Luella
schools.
Saul is
Is the
represents
schools?
the county judge. Larry Henderson has the schools.
I think he might represent
And
the
Tom
schools.
Benton is still on. So out of the 5, it's the one that represents the Quorum Court. So I will make sure with our assessor that Mr. Harness has been checked with, if he's willing to serve, we can look at reappointing him.
But if there's anybody interested, they need to get a hold of you.
we need to let me know or bring that information on them to the next committee meeting in July, so we can appoint them into July regular meeting.
That's when they need it by, or when?
It has to be done in July, and they have to go to a training class. The last one that takes place is July 27th.
And check, make sure on the, I know there's or I thought there was a slot or two that they at least wanted realty experience. But now I don't know whether it's probably not required on all the positions, but it might find out what the requirement is there.
I think the requirements are they've got to have a realtor, and they've got to have an appraiser or something like that.
Maybe, okay, like from different, okay.
Well, I would say not, because
Harry's not represented us, I mean, he was.
He's not a realtor.
No, but I don't think
Our representative.
Our representative can be just a general citizen.
That's what Bobby said, he represents the county.
anyway, we need that for the next month in July.
You ain't got like to brief them a little bit, if I could, on the solid waste meeting. Harrison Daily Times had a good article about the Method lawsuit, and that has kind of been settled, and it's it was good. It's a good compromise for everything. I have a copy of that agreement if anybody's interested. They can let me know, and I'll.
I paid my taxes today.
Did you pay your
Already?
And there was 4 of those suckers on there.
Four of late, wake up, there might be less.
That would win a both hands.
Yeah, 4 of my kind.
Brian, is there been any more on the jail as far as getting together and trying to get a?
There has been some correspondence, email-wise with Mr. Enos. I just looked, he sent me a new up-to-date design. I'm sure you've got it too, Judge.
I don't know if I have not. I know, I found a civil engineer. They asked me to find a civil engineer, and I got them together, so they were supposed to be working together.
Right after this passage is this amended ordinance out.
When is there going to be a time frame for when they're going to put this out? Is it going to be
They want it under a roof at least by the hard winter, like in January.
So they're going to go move it.
This program is brought to you as a public service of KTKO Channel 8, Harrison.